you so much, Stephanie. And Scott, there are a few things that you talked about that I'm going to bring up today about setting goals and maintaining your vision.
Awesome.
But I am Mark Block. I am a certified personal trainer and coach. I'm also the creator and host of an online wellness program, bluerise.com, which I focus and summarize as focusing on the crossroads of health and happiness. Now, we've been talking about exercise, and exercise, as Scott has proven, is great for relieving stress because a lot of what we go through in this journey, through the diagnosis, through treatment, through surgery, is the stress we're under. And it's interesting that exercise does relieve stress, but all stress is not relieved by exercise. So it's important if we look at stress so we can maintain our goals, maintain our visions. As Scott said, you have to have a reason to do it. So we can't let stress get in the way of moving forward. Next slide, please. And there are three different kinds of stress. There's situational stress, which is caused by the environment around you. Somebody jumps in front of you. You're driving your car, someone jumps in front of you, slash on the brake. Every system in your body goes into stress. There's physiological stress, and this is the body's response to trauma. Insomnia, sleep disorders are physiological stress. Giving birth is physiological stress. Head traumas are physiological stress. This is stress that you really can't control. And there's psychological stress. And psychological stress is mostly self-induced. You get a D on an exam, you are way stressed out. You know, you get diagnosed with bladder cancer, you're way stressed out. But the key is that, like this guy holding the ball, only you can control kind of the stress, the squeeze that stress is putting on you. So I'd like to focus, next slide, please, on the psychological stress, because that's really what we're dealing with. And we all tend to be hard on ourselves. As Scott had said, we do a lot of self-talk, which is very detrimental to us. You know, it is ineffective, it is self-sabotaging, and it's a very difficult habit to break. But if you believe in change, you know, you can relieve the stress, you can believe in your goals, you can create kind of a new you. You can stop being hard on yourself. And I would suggest maybe you take some Post-its and stick them up on your board like this and try to stop being hard on yourself. It's very, it's not an easy thing to do. It takes time. Next slide, please. So let's talk a little bit about stress management. Stress management, you can be either reactive or proactive. This guy here holding up these blocks is being very proactive. He's making sure and looking at why it happened in the last place and stopping it, why it happened in the first place, and he's stopping what's going on. But most of us are reactive. I must say that no matter what action you take against stress, no matter what activity, exercise, it's excellent because you are dealing with stress. It's working. But what you're doing is you're managing the symptoms. And the problem with managing the symptoms is they can come back at you. They can overtake you, and the stress can become a part of your life again. So it's very important that you learn how to manage the psychological stress by reaction and proaction. So what I'd like to do is now look at the proactive side of this stress management. Next slide, please. Now, first, let's look at the reactive side for just a minute, because we've all tried these different methods. I mean, here's a little list. Obviously, physical exercise is good, mental exercise, yoga begins to slip into the proactive. But any one of these is excellent. They are reactive though. Hugs, I love hugs. Have you guys tried hugging lately? Are any of you real huggers? I like to hug. If you've never done it before, which is kind of odd, I'm sure, give it a shot. You'd be surprised how nice it is. But things like yoga, which do move into the proactive side, are really the best place to start managing psychological stress. So next slide, please. So when you're thinking about proactive management, there's really only three options you have. You can think out of the box, and you can look at things differently. You can look at stress differently. You can think about how it affects you in a different way. You can change your selfie. It's what you see about what people see about you. What you want them to see. You can write a new elevator pitch. You can tell a new story. And once you embrace these three things, then you got to look at stress and embrace the stress and embrace the change. Now, would you do me a favor? Just make sure you got your camera ready. I've got a little project for you in a couple of slides. If we were in a meeting, I'd explain it to you, but we'll go over that in a couple of slides. Next slide, please. So let's talk about thinking out of the box for just a minute. Our self-perception, our self-esteem, our self-confidence, this is what defines us. This is what defines our personal space. It's that box we live in. It's how we deal with this perspective that determines how we move forward. I've got here, wherever you go, there you are. And sadly, this is true most of the time. And one of the ways to change that is to think out of your box. Be like the Queen in Alice in Wonderland. You guys know the Queen in Alice in Wonderland? One of her things was she would wake up every morning, and before breakfast, she would think of 10 new and exciting things. So let's try and be like the Queen in Alice in Wonderland. Next slide, please. So the second thing I had was redoing your selfie. Now, I'm curious, first of all, since your selfie is what people see, can anyone there relate to one of these? Are you like this little guy on the left that just plugged himself into a sock and has got a bad hair day? Or are you one of these people that are smiling all the time? If you're not sure, ask someone. Ask someone what they think of a picture selfie you took with yourself, that you took of yourself. Now, I know it's difficult. It's kind of impossible to see yourself as others see you, because we look at ourselves, same eyes, same body, same person. And no matter where we go, we're always the same person. We're there, but try to recreate yourself on that selfie. I asked you to take your cell phone out a little while ago. I have it ready for you. I started to say, if we were in an audience together, I would ask you to take a new selfie and ask the person next to you what message you're giving them. So all I can ask you to do is take a selfie and maybe share it with us at the end during maybe you could show it to us or something, or email or send the picture through the chat, through the Q&A chat. I'd like to see that, see what it is. So, but part of that selfie, next slide, please. Part of the selfie is what you say to people. It's like your elevator pitch. My question, I guess, is, do you have an elevator pitch? Is it an old one? Or is it a new one since your diagnosis and your treatment and where you are today? You meet someone in an elevator. He's new, he walks in the elevator, he says, I just moved into the building. I'm in apartment 10F. I don't know anyone. Hello, who are you? What are you going to tell them? What I'd like you to do is take a minute and come up with yourself. Now, before you do that, if you remember, when I started, I said, hello, I am Mark Block. I am a certified personal trainer and life coach. I am the creator and host of a wellness website called BlueRiser.com, which I summarize as the crossroads between health and fitness, health and nutrition, health and wellness. Sorry. Well, that took all of 17 seconds to say that. Come up with something that you could tell us in 30 seconds. And I'd like you to think about it, and maybe at the end you can put it in the Q&A chat, and we'd be happy to read that to you. So I'd like to know who you are. And if that happens, next slide, please. And if you can get that, you've actually, if you can think out of the box, if you can change your selfie, if you can create a new elevator pitch, you are becoming a new you, and it's a different kind of exercise you're doing. Now you're going to be able to focus. And as Scott said, you'll have a reason to do it. You can set yourself goals. But what's next? You have to embrace stress, and you have to embrace change. You have to make these things work for you. Next slide, please. Embracing stress. Stress has amazing benefits. It's a motivator. It gets your creative juices going. It's an indicator of needed change. It mobilizes you. It doesn't stop you. It can keep you going. And it has some amazing longevity issues. It strengthens your body. Today, we think that we have the key on longevity and finding that fountain of youth, which stress can do for you. But people like Ponce de Leon in history, Ponce de Leon, he was crazy. He was obsessed with trying to find the fountain of youth. And I'm going to read to you, I've got here something from Sophia Loren. And Sophia Loren says that she has found the fountain of youth. She goes, there is a fountain of youth. It is in your mind, your talents. It's in the creativity you bring to your life and the life of the people you love. When you learn to tap this source, you will truly have defeated age. You will have found your fountain of youth. So my message here is embrace stress, because it's inevitable. It's there in front of us. We're making it work for you, not against you. Next slide, please. And from there, we have to embrace change. Change is inevitable. Change is part of life. Change is one of those inevitabilities, and change and stress, they kind of go hand in hand. There's a natural progression. Most of us don't like change. We get stressed whenever there's change. So we get stuck in our box because of it. So we're back to the whole premise of thinking out of your box, changing your selfie, changing your elevator pitch. It's all about change. But change takes time. You have to practice it. And it takes small steps, one at a time. Next slide, please. So now that we have some new great habits, has anyone here ever read anything about the blue zone studies? These are studies where they looked at the longest lived people in the world, those centurions around the world, and they came up with 9 lifelong lessons. I suggest you go Google bluezones.com and look at those 9 lessons. But they all lead to one major thing. They lead to a purpose in life, And that to me is the most important lesson, because if you can identify your purpose in life and always smile. I like these folks, this slide. I hope that I can maintain a smile like that. I hope that whatever stress I'm under, that I can constantly recreate myself and move forward and smile like these guys are smiling. Next slide, please. So I kind of going to leave you now with this theory that you can be the new you, that your new healthy habits can get you into that exercise routine, that can give you something to look forward to, that can give you a goal. So get to know the new you 2.0. Think out of the box, change your selfie and elevator pitch, accept change, and become that positive future, because you can. Because the future is yours to write. Thank you so much.